My name is Norman Clement. I'm Pebobscot, Wabanaki Confederation, and I'm also a confederate Quinnipiac, made so by the only recognized Qunnipiac still alive, Iron Thunder Horse, who would be here tonight wasn't for some other circumstances and his ill health. I'd like to say that, first off, I had a statement I want to say, but I'd like to address first the woman who had the history book and was trying to tell the history of the Quinnipiacs and made it sound like such a peaceful leaving of this land. We sold, the chief sold his land for pennies on a dollar. They sold their land because they didn't know what selling land meant. There's no concept. In Native American history, in Native American culture, there's no concept of being able to sell your land or give it away. It is something that is yours forever. It is your ancestors' bones are in that land. So to say that any tribe, anywhere in this continent, sold or moved away from their ancestral lands is a complete lie. We got to stop telling that lie to our children. Yeah, I get a little heated when I hear, that you're teaching history to our children here, in Native American history. Do you have Native American teachers coming into your schools? I want to ask you that. How many of you know any Native Americans? We have our Greater Council, New Haven Council, Native American Urban Council consists of 3,000 Native Americans that live in New Haven County alone. Our purpose is to teach our culture to our children, but we will also teach our culture to your children if you gave us a chance to do that. Talia Gallagher, brave young woman to bring this in front of this board. I give her all the props in the world. Okay, and now I'm going to go into this statement a little bit. In taking up the decision on whether to change the name of the mascot at your high school, I would urge you to listen to the voices that are most affected by having a mascot that depicts Native people as cartoons or as people who no longer exist. We are still here. I know there are some very strong opinions to keep the name at the school. Most of them come from people who are not or will never be affected by racism or marginalization. The name Indian is it's a misnomer. In the first place, we are not Indians. That was a mistake made by Columbus. As about everything that he made was either a mistake or an atrocity. We want to be called by our tribal names, whether it's Quinnipiac, Pebobscot, Wampano. That is our names. It may seem like a small issue to you, but all people deserve the respect to be called by their preferred names. The second thing, and the most important thing to me, is the question of what is honoring to us. There was a letter sent to the New Haven Register by James Walker, I believe his name was. who laid out the many ways in which the Quinnipiac, the original people of this land, should feel honored. One was by keeping the names of places alive in North Haven, names that have been misappropriated, misnamed, and in most cases mispronounced. All the while not doing anything towards actually keeping the Algonquin language alive. Our languages, along with everything else, has been stolen from us. In the letter, he also stated that the Quinnipiacs are no longer a people. Not true. There are Quinnipiacs still alive. There's a fellow who lives in North Branford. His name is Fox Running, a good friend of mine. Couldn't be here tonight. In fact, the U.S. government decided to no longer, when the U.S. government decided to no longer recognize the Quinnipiacs, they admitted that there were still 100 families, Quinnipiac families still in existence. The reason why they wouldn't recognize them is because they hadn't been on their land for their entire length of time. I wonder why.
Why?
Why? Because, and that story about them just picking up their stuff and moving up to the Tungsten tribe is another crop. When they were put on the reservation in East Haven, which was the first reservation in the country, which was a model for all the other reservations, which was a model for the concentration camps of the Holocaust. Before they moved off of that land, 300 Pequots were massacred on the beach in Mystic. Some of them burned alive. The Quinnipiacs seen the writing on the wall and decided it was time to get up and get out. If your wish is to genuinely honor us, then teaching our real histories to your children would be a good beginning. Histories such as Columbus being a mass murderer, killing and enslaving over 90% of the Arawaks, or that germ warfare was used for the first time in the history against our people, killing millions. The time has come for the dominant white voices to not only to be the only voices that are heard, or for the people who will never be marginalized or profiled to be the only ones that determine what is and what is not acceptable. Honor us by honoring your former student, Talia Gallagher, for her bravery in bringing this petition to you, and do away with this mascot. We are not mascots. We are still here. Aho. Aho. Aho.